What are you doing? Didn't you just finish this grind? Stupid. Stupid. Pathetic!
You also might be asking yourself, what the hell are you doing? Why are you back mining iron again? Well, it all started with a chunk roll. One that I was desperately hoping to avoid until I upgraded my axe. The chunk that changed everything, the Crypt of Tenali. With this chunk comes some new grinds, and not small ones. We're talking 87 Fletching and 75 Firemaking. To hit those milestones, I need to cut around 90,000 willow logs, and normally that wouldn't be a huge problem. But with a bronze axe, that grind turns into over 900 hours. So at this point, I'm killing guards, leveling up my melee stats, and asking myself one question. How do I make this suck less? And after way too much thinking, I landed on two possible solutions. Option 1 is a safe play. I start the grind anyways with a bronze axe, and I dump every lamp and book of knowledge into Hunter until I hit level 32. This is the level where I can barehand catch young implings, and those implings have a steel axe on their loot table. If I get one of those, the grind gets cut almost in half. The only problem though, is that I would be stuck chopping willows with a bronze axe all the way up until I hit level 32 Hunter, which could take a little bit of time. Option 2 is definitely more unhinged. We lamp one more level into smithing in order to hit level 15, which is the level that allows us to start smelting iron bars. This would officially unlock the smithing skill for us, and then we could push our smithing level all the way up to level 71 in order to make an adamant axe. This would cut the amount of hours down immensely. But of course, there's a catch, because if I go down this route, I'm also committing myself to an 88 smithing grind to eventually smith an adamant plate body, which would add hundreds, if not thousands, of hours to this chunk. And as you've probably already guessed from the start of this video, we're going with option 2, which is why we're back here, mining iron again. And I know that adding the smithing grind to this chunk doesn't necessarily mean the chunk is going to be quicker. We actually are extending how long this chunk will take, but the main reason I chose this path is because this grind is inevitable. As I've stated in a previous episode, our only way out of the Teladi rainforest is through the Nemus retreat, which means this smithing grind has to happen eventually, no matter what. So I figured, why not start it early? If it saves us hundreds of hours overall on the account, and it also gets us some use out of the smithing grind, it's worth the pain. So if you haven't watched the previous episodes, I'd recommend getting caught up, especially episode 3. I'll throw it up here and it's linked in the description. Yeah, alright, with that out of the way, let's see what this chunk actually requires. So for our new skill tasks, we're going to need 30 attack to wield an addy weapon, 40 defense to wield a magic shield, 75 firemaking to burn magic logs, 87 fletching to fletch a magic shield, 46 range to wield addy bolts, 88 smithing to smith an addy plate body, 30 strength in order to wield an addy warhammer, and 75 woodcutting in order to chop a magic log. For our new best in slot tasks, we're going to need to obtain an adamant scimitar, an adamant full helm, an adamant kite shield, an adamant plate body, an adamant plate leg, an adamant mace, an adamant square shield, an adamant chain body, a magic shield, adamant knives, and an adamant med helm. So pretty much all of these are through the smithing skill, but that is a lot of new best in slot items. And then lastly, we have a couple of other tasks that are included in this chunk. The first one is to help unite Fabia with Xylo, which I believe I mentioned at the beginning of our previous episode. And then our other one is to activate the statue of Ates, or Ats, or Ates, whatever that says. But yeah, that's all of our chunk tasks for this chunk. So it's going to be a long one. Definitely have a lot of big grinds ahead of us, but I'm ready to hop on into it. I'm currently just strolling around the new chunk. I brought my axe so that I can complete the task to chop a magic log. And I'm also going to look for Fabia, see where she is. Looks like there's some fishing spots over here too, but we don't have a fishing net, so we can't use those. Oh, and there's Fabia. And Fabia departs. Doesn't look like, didn't tell us we completed the task yet, so maybe we have to go back over to where Xylo was to complete it. But yeah, here's the magic trees, and we got our little piggies over here. But yeah, let's chop one of these. Probably gonna take a little while since I just have a bronze axe, but let's complete this task. There you go, we finally chopped the magic tree. That almost took 3 whole minutes. Holy crap, that took forever. I am never doing this again, not until we get a better axe. Alright, so now I'm back over here talking to Xylo and Fabia. I believe once we get through this dialogue, I think that should complete it. There you go. Alright, we have officially completed the task, so that's 2 tasks done. It's not going to be a quick chunk though, but we have checked 2 of those tasks off so far, so it's a start. I must have also already activated the statue of Ates because I do not have an option to activate it. So if I hadn't activated it already, I would have the option to do it. So I guess that is another chunk task completed. So I still need to get the lamps in order to hit level 15 smithing. So at the moment, I'm just getting a head start on this woodcutting grind. At the moment, it says I'm getting like 170 logs per hour. So again, not great. But yeah, there's level 80 woodcutting. So that's a nice little milestone. I am interested to see what our woodcutting level will get to on our way to 87 fletching. So that'll be cool to see. Here's our first lamp from a genie. So only 2 more lamps and then we can get that smithing level. Finishing up another random. There's 2 lamps. So just 1 more to go. Back-to-back mime randoms, which is awesome. So that's all 3 lamps we needed. So let's go get this smithing level. Okay, so we've got our 3 lamps to get us to level 15 smithing. Again, we're only going to be training our smithing up until level 71 at first in order to get us our adamant axe. And then we'll start doing the fletching and firemaking grinds. And then after that, we will continue our smithing grind up until level 88. But nonetheless, let's get into popping these lamps into smithing. This lamp literally changes everything about this chunk. Can't lie, it's a little nerve-wracking. I'm over here thinking to myself, is this really what I want to do? I know it's the right choice. It's just that smithing grind is very daunting. Not looking forward to it, but let's just do it. All right, there's level 15 smithing. So we can now smelt iron ores, and this chunk has been changed forever. Currently just using up all of our coins in order to buy natures and fire runes to get as many superheat casts as possible. So we'll get back to you guys once our cash stack is gone. So that's the end of the cash stack. We are officially broke. at least until we sell these 5,500 unstrung willow longbows. But until then, we will start smelting these iron ore. We have almost 1,300 casts of superheat. So we're going to smelt this iron up until we get to level 33, and then we'll finally be able to start smithing it into plate bodies. If you're enjoying the series, or even just enjoy watching me make terrible decisions, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you'd like to support even further than that, feel free to take a look at the channel memberships. You guys are who keep this madness going. Alright, so it's time to start getting some of these first smithing levels. We have about 20,000 iron ore in the bank at the moment from our 70 mining grind. I think we're going to need about 30 to 40,000 iron ore in order to hit 71 smithing, so we still have a bit of mining to do, but for now we can at least start getting some of these first smithing levels, so let's get to it. So here comes our first smithing level from actually training the skill. Very nice. There's level 20 smithing. I will say one benefit of doing this grind is that we will ultimately get a boatload of magic XP, so I expect our magic level to get pretty high from this grind. Change the layout of my spells so my superheat is larger and I can kind of just spam it over here. There's level 25 smithing, so we can now make iron battle axes. We've got ourselves a count check random here, and that presents a great opportunity for me to speak on what we will be doing with our lamps moving forward. So I'm going to start lamping agility, and that is because we're going to be making thousands of trips to the iron rocks and back to the bank. So I believe any increase in our run energy will be very beneficial to us. There's 30 smithing, which allows us to start smelting steel and make our first steel item, the steel dagger. There's 32 smithing, which means we can now make steel maces, and that also means we are one level away from being able to make iron plate bodies, so very close. I have to get myself ready to go into work though, so the 33 smithing can be put on hold. I'll probably try and sell some of my unstrung willow longbows while I'm there, but I also have one other thing I wanted to do, which is make a steel axe, just so we have an axe upgrade in case I do some more willow chopping. So let's go do that really quick, and then I will get back to you guys once I'm home from work. There you go. Now we have our first axe upgrade. We are still hopping worlds selling these willow unstrung longbows. We only have about 900 left, so let's try and knock this out and buy ourselves some more runes. Well, I guess the game had different plans for us, because with 580 unstrung longbows left, we got hit with a world hop limit, so unfortunate. The other thing that sucks about that is that we can't even go and buy more natures because we would have to hop worlds for that. So unfortunate. I think we have around 200 natures in the bank though, so we should be able to hit our 33 smithing in order to start smithing plate bodies. So let's check that out. Ooh, almost 300 death runes from a maze random. I will take that. There is level 33 smithing, so we can now officially make iron plate bodies, and we can also make steel med helms and steel crossbow bolts. Making the iron plate bodies will definitely be faster XP than smelting the iron bars, which will be nice. We also will be making these iron plate bodies all the way up until level 88 smithing, so time to get used to it. Sheesh! I've only done 3 inventories of plate bodies and I am already out of run energy. That is not cool. There's level 35 smithing. With that level, we can now make steel scimitars and also steel arrowheads. There's level 40 smithing, and with that level, we can now smelt gold ore and make steel battle axes. Man, I wish we had jewelry molds so that we can make our own jewelry, especially with all the gems that we have stashed up, but it is what it is. All right, I'm ready to finally get rid of the rest of these unstrung willow longbows, so I will catch you guys in a little while after we sell the rest of these. They are finally gone. We have finally gotten rid of that fat stack of unstrung willow longbows. And we've got 300k that we can spend on runes again. Damn it. Maybe we won't be buying more runes at the moment. These damn world hop limits. I also have 800 silver ore in my bank, so that's just free XP sitting around. So over time, I'm just gonna smelt all of these into silver bars. It's like 14 XP per bar, but again, free XP just sitting in my bank. I may as well smelt all of it over time. I also realized if you interact with this workbench, it gives you 20 iron nails for free 99. Which is kind of cool. I don't know how I didn't realize that sooner. Would you look at that? There is 60 magic, which is a nice looking number right there. And there is level 45 smithing. So we can now smelt Lovakite ore and make Shazian gloves 1. There's level 48 smithing. With that level, we can now make steel plate bodies, which I don't really think we'll make, but we could always test it out. Coal is just a bitch. There's a nice good looking even number, level 50 smithing. With that level we can now smelt mithril ore, and we can also make mithril daggers, and we are one level away from being able to make a mithril axe, which would be really nice. So there's level 51 smithing, so we can now make our mithril axe. We can also make Shazian greaves, but most importantly we can now make that mithril axe. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this other plate body really quick. And then we can go over here. I brought the ores for the mithril bar. So let's smelt that really quick. And then we can go back over to the anvil and make us our mithril axe. There it is. So now that we have this, I'll probably start woodcutting a bit more. I believe this should drastically increase our logs per hour from like 160 up to like 300 to 400 logs per hour. So huge upgrade. It will definitely be really nice to have until we get another 20 smithing levels for that adamant axe. So I'm going to go test out how many logs we can get per hour with this thing, just so I have an idea of how much of an upgrade this axe is for us. Yeah, wow. That was super quick to get a full inventory of willow logs. I am not used to that. It says that we're getting like 567 logs per hour. I know it's going to be lower than that just because it hasn't accounted in the bank trip yet. But still, even if it's around like 400 per hour, that's more than double what we were getting with the bronze axe. So that is super awesome. Kind of validates my decision to add the smithing grind to this chunk, because it's definitely going to cut down that fletching grind in terms of hours immensely. I honestly can't get over it. This is so much faster now that I have this mithril axe, like so much faster. I've almost completed my third inventory already, and I don't think it's even been 10 minutes. It's just awesome. I've never been so hyped over a mithril axe before, but like I was so used to using a bronze axe for months that like this is it just feels amazing. I can't explain it. Craziest part too is that like I'm not even regaining my run energy because I'm just cutting these logs so fast. This is amazing. The mahogany tree is even significantly faster. Like, this is amazing. Oh my god, I'm so happy. This is just amazing. There's a new collection log item, the sturdy beehive parts. Just spawning some forestry events with my main while I'm over here cutting logs. But yeah, now we have the petal garland, the sturdy beehive parts, we have the full pheasant outfit, and the golden pheasant egg. So I'm really just hoping we can get the fox whistle before we actually get the forestry grind and don't have to pay for it ourselves. Decided to do some fletching so we can get some money to buy some more nature runes. Currently fletching around 2,000 unstrung willows right now. There's level 72 fletching, so we can now make yew shields. But yeah, I'm gonna make about 2,000 unstrung willows to sell to the general store. I'm probably gonna usually sell about 2,000 at a time just so I don't get too burnt out with the world hopping. But yeah, just really want to get as many natures as I can because I absolutely hate mining, so the more natures, the better for us. And I also hate the idea of the 50% chance to smelt an iron bar. So unfortunately, we don't have the best money makers, so we kind of just have to make do with what we have. So our best solution is world hopping, selling unstrung willows, and selling the plate bodies that we've already smithed. I do have to say, ever since we unlocked this smithing grind on top of the fletching grind for this chunk, it's kind of made things a little more enjoyable for me. Not that I wasn't enjoying it already, but it's easy to get burnt out doing the same thing over and over again. So with the added aspect of having the smithing grind now, I can kind of just break things up a little bit. Like for instance, today I started off mining, I got like 1,000 ore, and then I moved on to doing some woodcutting. And then after that, I did some fletching, and now here I am doing some smithing. So it's just nice to be able to have a variety of content to do, I guess is what I'm trying to say. There's level 52 smithing, which means we can now make mithril maces. This was one of our chunk goals, but I could do an adamant one as an alternative, and I feel like I should do that one as my chunk task just because it's a higher tier of the weapon. All right, back to the general store we go. We've got our 2,000 unstrung longbows and our 400 iron plate bodies. So we're gonna hop 400 worlds, sell 1 plate body and 5 longbows per world. So each world gets us 494 coins. I think we should get somewhere around 200k from doing these 400 world hops. I got sick of world hopping, so I decided to go mine for a couple hours. So there's 1,000 ore, we're getting about 450 iron per hour. Yeah, and we also hit 1 million mining XP, which is a cool little milestone. Just got another lamp, so we're gonna pop that into agility for another 10 XP, and that will get us to level 2 agility. So almost 1 full week after putting our first lamp into agility, we finally got a level. Just finished up a beekeeper random, so there's some beekeeper legs, which is our last piece of the set, and that also gave us a lamp, which we will be throwing into agility. We are now also only missing the stale baguette from the random events clog, so that's pretty cool as well. There's another Evil Bob random, and nice, we got fishing XP, so there's level 15 fishing. There's level 75 mining, which is a pretty nice looking number. Still got a lot more mining levels to gain, but it's another little milestone, I guess. This inventory of iron ore will put our stack in the bank up to over 30,000 iron ore, so that looks pretty nice. It's only a fraction of how many we need for the 88 smithing grind, but I believe for the 71 smithing, we only need about 10,000 more iron ore, so we're getting there. This count check random should get us enough XP for another agility level, so let's pop that in there. And there's 20 XP and level 3 agility. Wow. I've been stacking up willow logs in the bank so that we can do some more fletching in order to make more GP. We have 5,000 in the bank right now. I'm gonna get to fletching some of these and then we can sell them and continue this loop because everything kind of ties together. So hopefully we can get some levels from these. So at the moment, I think I'm going to be selling the unstrung willow longbows in waves of like 2,000 just so I don't get too burnt out from world hopping, just because I absolutely hate world hopping. It is it's like the worst thing ever, to be quite honest. But this inventory of willow longbows should get us another level. So there is level 73 fletching, and we can now make onyx tipped runite bolts. I think I'm going to move on to doing something else after this though. I forgot to mention that I mined over 1,000 coal recently just to try it out. I'm not going to do this again just because it takes so much longer to mine compared to the iron. But I'm gonna get started smelting these into steel bars and then make steel plate bodies, and then we can elk those for some profit. So let's get started doing that. There's level 53 smithing, so we can now make mithril med helms and also mithril crossbow bolts. Ooh, please tell me we're gonna get a stale baguette. Stale baguette, please. Stale baguette. Ah, motherfucker. Just doing some woodcutting while I'm doing some editing, and there's level 82 woodcutting. Woo! Many more levels to come. Man, smelting iron bars without superheat is terrible. I didn't even get 10 bars from that inventory. That is such a waste of resources. That kills me, man. That kills me. It hurts my soul so much. I guess I just gotta get used to it. There's level 56 smithing. There's level 57 smithing. 6 bars. Are you serious, dude? 6 bars from a full inventory? You have to be freaking kidding me. That is bullshit. Oh, hey, 58 smithing. All right, we got 400 plate bodies, so gonna go hop 400 worlds and make some more money. All right, there you go. That's 400 world hops and just under 200k. Going to invest this money straight into natures, and then we're going to high elk those steel bodies. All right, that's all the natures we need, so let's go elk these things. All right, that's the last plate body, so we just made another 100k off of those steel plate bodies. So now we've got about 500k to work with, but I'm gonna get back to smelting. I'm gonna do it without nature runes for right now. And there's level 59 smithing. And a nice looking level 60 smithing, so we can now make mithril battle axes and dragon square shields. And best of all, look at that number, man. It just looks beautiful. I love me a good rounded number. You guys, I'm sure, know that by now. There's level 61 smithing. With that level, we can now make mithril chain bodies. Got ourselves a dunce random, so popping this on agility for 45 agility XP. And that'll get us to level 4 agility. 62 smithing. Yeah. We can now make mithril kite shields. 63 smithing. So we are pretty much at the halfway mark for the 71 smithing goal. We also almost are halfway through the stack of 30,000 iron ore that we started off with. So making some good progress. I'm going to get these iron bars up to like 1,000, and then I'll smith those into some more plate bodies. So we almost have 700 iron plate bodies in the bank, and then there's a stack of 1,000 iron bars in the bank as well. So these are actually all leftovers from smelting my iron bars in the furnace. When I smelt my iron bars, I make as many plate bodies as I can, and then there's usually some leftovers. So I've just been stacking them up in the bank because I wanted to see that stack go up. Just gonna mine a quick inventory of coal because I have a couple of things I want to do. All right, there's our full inventory of coal. So let's go do what I want to do. All right, so you probably could have guessed what I wanted to do. We're making some mithril bars right now, and then we're gonna turn this into some stuff. All right, so the first thing I wanted to make was a mithril scimitar. This is kind of me redeeming myself because up until this point, I have only gotten like 2 or 3 quizmasters and haven't even sniffed a mithril skimmy. So this was something I really wanted during the gemstone crab grind, but I never got to have it. So until you watch this video, I can tell you I got this from the quizmaster. And the other thing I wanted to smith was the mithril mace, because that's technically one of our chunk tasks, to obtain a mithril mace, which is our best prayer weapon. But I'm actually gonna kind of hold off until we can make the adamant mace, because that's like a higher tier of the mace. I don't know why that's not my chunk task. So yeah, getting ready to do some more world hops and make some more money. Did I enjoy it? No. Am I glad that I did it though? Yes, there is another 200k to add to the cash stack. And now our cash stack is sitting at over 700k. So I think I'm going to try and get it up to like at least a mil and then spend all of that on more natures. Just finished the Quizmaster. Dragon Spear, please. You've got to be kidding me. I literally just made my own mithril scimitar yesterday. Oh my god, I can't. Well, now we have 2 mithril scimitars. Oh shit. That's actually really good for us. That's actually really good. I don't think we had access to a ruined kite shield at all for a while. Wow. Did not expect that. I was expecting like another mithril scimitar or something. Just to add some further context, I looked it up and the ruined kite shield is a 1 in 1920 drop. So that's kind of crazy. Unfortunately, it's the same odds as the Dragon Med Helm, and I would have loved to get that Dragon Med Helm. So kind of takes away from it a little bit, but I'm still super stoked on the kite shield. I can't complain. But that actually completes another task for us because we had to get an adamant kite shield for our best in slot melee shield. But now that we have the rune kite shield, this is our best in slot melee shield. So that's another task completed. So now that we've gotten this rune kite shield, we now have an alternative for our 40 defense task. So instead of having to wield a magic shield in order to check off this task, we could also check it off by wearing this rune kite shield. I'm going to hold off to check it off and just wait until we wield the magic shield, because that was the original plan anyways, and we have to get the magic shield regardless. Been fletching some more unstrung willow longbows. So with this inventory, we have over 2,000 again. So now I'm going to get back to world hopping and making another 200k, another 400 worlds and another 198k. So that's about 400k we've made in like the past 24 hours. And now we are just 100k away from getting our first mill stack on the account. All right, the time has come for me to use up this stack of 1100 iron bars in the bank. So let's see how many levels we can get from this. All right, there's level 64 smithing. So we can now make mithril two-handed swords, and that is the last level we should be getting from that stack of iron bars. All right, that's all of them besides 3 bars. We made 236 iron plate bodies, so now I'm going to sell those, but I just want to fletch about a little over 1,000 more willow logs, and then we can hop some more worlds, and we should be able to get that cash stack up to 1,000,000. 75 fletching. So with that level, we can now make rune arrows, and we are slowly making some progress on that 87 fletching grind. Alright, so we have all of the unstrung willow longbows that we need to sell with the plate bodies. So we're going to get to selling these and world hopping. I swear I'm not going to show this to you guys every single time I do it, but I just kind of want to give you an idea of all that goes into getting these smithing levels, because there's a lot that I have to do. And that is all of the plate bodies sold. So there you go. There's our first 1,000,000 coins on the account. It looks beautiful. I'm just going to savor it for as long as I can, which is only like a couple minutes, because we are gonna go spend all of this on natures and fire runes. But yeah, nice little accomplishment. We hit a mill on the account, and we're about to be broke again very soon. Another Evil Bob random completed, and there is another 650 fishing XP for level 17 fishing. Alright, so there's 5,000 natures and officially 5,000 casts of superheat, which is amazing. So I'm going to get to smelting iron bars and making plate bodies again, and do that until I have no more natures left. And then what I think I'm going to do is sell those plate bodies again back to the store with unstrung willow longbows, and then whatever money I get from that, buy more natures, use those natures for more superheat casts, and then sell the plate bodies and more unstrung willow longbows to the store, and just kind of keep recycling those plate bodies into more natures until my money is basically completely depleted. Just completed yet another dunce random, so popping that bad boy on agility, and that should get us another level. There's 83 woodcutting, another lamp, and another agility level. There is level 6 agility. Jeez, Bob, maybe it's time you lay off the fish. You're starting to get a little chunky, my dude. It's another 650 fishing XP though, and level 18 fishing. So I have a confession to make. I haven't started using our stack of nature runes yet, but this plate body will get us level 65 smithing. And yet another beekeeper random for another agility level, level 7. There's level 66 smithing. So now we only have 5 more levels until we reach level 71 smithing for that adamant axe. So I made another 200k and bought another 1,000 nature runes. So now our stack sits at over 6,000 natures. I also started superheating my bars while I walk over to the anvil, so that I'm making better use of my time instead of like bank standing. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. It just makes more sense. Nothing like another dunce random for another agility level. So that's level 8 agility. I feel like these agility levels are starting to come in pretty quick now. There is level 67 smithing, only 4 more levels to go. There's a genie lamp for level 9 agility, and we are closing in on level 10. And another genie lamp. So there's another 90 agility XP and level 10 agility. Look how that looks. Very nice. So 10 agility purely through lamps. We can now cross the rope swing to Moss Giant Island and use the Corsair Cove agility shortcut. There's level 65 magic. So we can now cast Water Wave and wield Third Age wands and Dragon Hunter wands. I will say I have noticed our run energy isn't depleting as quickly, which is really nice. We're actually really never running out of run energy since we're walking to the anvil while we superheat our bars, and then the only time we're sprinting is on our way back to the bank. There's level 68 smithing, so only 3 more levels to go until we can smith our adamant axe, and that's actually the highest tier plate body we can make until we hit 88 smithing for that adamant plate body. Fletching more willow longbows in order to sell them to the general store for more money. And there's another fletching level, 76 fletching. We can now make amethyst broad bolts. There's another magic level, level 66 magic. So we can now cast vulnerability and charge air orbs along with some other things. And it's kind of crazy. We've already gotten 11 magic levels since starting this smithing grind. This mystery box will surely be a dragon bat helm. A bucket. Alright, so with this next plate body we make, this will get us level 70 smithing, which is only 1 level away from our goal of 71 smithing in order to make that adamant axe. Once we hit that level, we will stop smithing for a while until we complete our fletching and firemaking goals. But this level also makes it so we can smelt adamant ore and make adamant daggers. So I'm going to go make a few adamant bars so that once we hit 71 smithing, we can go ahead and make that axe. We've got our materials for the adamant bars. You can only make 4 addy bars per inventory, but once we complete these, I'll just stow them in the bank until we complete our next level. Alright, and with these next few casts of superheat, this will get us level 70 magic, which then allows us to cast Earth Wave, which is very nice. And after a lot of time, we have finally hit our personal milestone of 71 smithing in order to make our adamant axe. So I'm going to finish this inventory of plate bodies and then I will get to making the adamant axe. But we will finally have that axe, which will improve our rate in which we get willow logs. So this is a huge win. All right, here we go. The whole reason we extended how long this chunk will take, we can finally make this adamant axe and improve our woodcutting XP rate. So there you go, there's our adamant axe. That also completes a chunk task for us, which is wielding an adamant weapon. I really wouldn't consider this to be a weapon, but that's a chunk task completed as well. So at this point, I think it's time to really start grinding out these fletching and firemaking levels. So let's get to it. So there's 85 woodcutting. Another Evil Bob random completed. That is for another 650 fishing XP. And there's level 20 fishing without ever catching a fish, which is a really nice start. Just completed another Quizmaster random. Oh, we got a lamp from that one. All right, well, I guess we'll pop that on agility. And I think that should get us another level. Yeah, there you go, level 14 agility. I guess I'll also mention that currently I'm just getting all of my logs for the fletching grind and banking them. I could fletch some of them on my way to the bank, but I'm just being super AFK with this. I'm doing a lot of it while I'm at work. So I've just been banking all of them, and then I'll just bank, stand, and fletch all of them once I get like 50,000. But yeah, we got another woodcutting level coming in. This should be level 87 woodcutting. So I definitely think we should at least hit level 90 woodcutting by the time we end. But yeah, another level down in the books. Almost at 4 million XP as well. Got another chance for a stale baguette. Nope. Just gonna eat that baguette in shame. Hey, what do you know? 90 woodcutting. Look how beautiful that is. Wait, what the heck? What the heck? What? You got a beaver? Oh my god, dude. I wasn't even paying attention. What? Look at the little guy. Look at the little guy. We got a beaver pet. We got so spooned. That is awesome. Oh my god. So our new furry friend is gonna need a name, and I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to decide what we should name them. So post your suggestions in the community tab on our channel, and then I'll pick the top like 2 or 4 suggestions that have the most likes, and I'll put them into a poll where we can all vote and decide on what we should name this little guy. So keep an eye out for that poll. By next episode, our beaver friend will be named. Once we pop this lamp on agility, this will get us to level 23 agility. So we're going to stop lamping agility here. And that's because once we get to the Nemus retreat, there is an obstacle that requires level 24 agility. And if we're able to do that, then we would have to grind our agility all the way up until level 45. And I really don't think I feel like doing that. I mean, things could always change by then. But for now, I'm going to stop lamping agility at 23. And, you know, it's always an option down the road. This struggling sapling forestry event will get us level 8 farming. I feel like it's been a while since we've gotten a farming level. So always like to see those come in. So this is going to be our last inventory of willow logs for our fletching grind. I believe we should have enough for level 87 fletching. So I'm going to drop these in the bank, and then we can start getting into our fletching grind. But that is 57,500 willow logs on the dot. That looks beautiful, but I'm about to dive on into it and ruin that good looking number. Also, if we were to use all these logs for firemaking, it would get us 5.17 million firemaking XP, which is pretty crazy. Alright, let's start getting some of these levels to roll in. There's level 78 fletching, which is our first level since diving into that stack of 57,000 logs. We can now make dragon or magic crossbows and the toxic blowpipe. Look at Molasses over there, just wandering around. I swear he's pissed at me ever since I got my beaver pet. You know, me and Molasses been through a lot. Sorry, Molasses, there's more animals than just you in this world. Still love you, bud. Been through a lot with you. I'll never forget our time with each other. I also kind of forgot that we have a pheasant egg, golden pheasant egg. So I'm going to use this on our beaver friend over here. Feed the egg to your pet. And now he's a pheasant. I'm not sure how I feel about the pheasant though. I think I'm more of a beaver guy than a pheasant guy, to be quite honest. But that's cool. So it's basically like we have 2 pets. Can't complain. There's level 79 fletching, so now we're only 1 level away from level 80, and we can now make greenman carvings. This lamp's gonna get us our first Slayer level, so there's 10 Slayer XP for level 2 Slayer. There's level 80 fletching, clean looking number right there, and with that level we can now make magic short bows. Oh, I thought that random was for me. Mother. So I just want to check this out really quick, see how much this magic short bow is worth in the general store, because I don't have a lot of great money makers on this account. Oh, 320 coins. That's That's pretty good. So maybe sometimes I can just like AFK magic trees so that I could sell the short bows or long bows. That could be an all right money maker if I'm just, need something to AFK. Also, the level 80 fletching looks super clean next to the 70 magic and 92 woodcutting. It's a good looking row right there. I can't complain. There's 81 fletching. With that level, we can now make rune darts. There's level 82 fletching. So only 5 more levels to go. We can now make amethyst arrows. There's level 83 fletching. There's level 84 fletching. So with that level, we can now make amethyst javelins, dragon bolts, and rosewood blowpipes. 3 more levels to go, and then we will reach our goal. So there's level 85 fletching. So only 2 more levels to go until we reach our goal. And with that level, we can now make magic longbows. There is level 86 fletching. So we only have 1 more level to go until we are finally done with this fletching grind. It's taken, a few days to get through that stack of 57,000 willow logs, but we're finally at the final stretch. Only 374,000 XP to go. Just completed a beekeeper event, so we'll pop this lamp on Slayer for 20 Slayer XP, and there is level 3 Slayer. Time has finally come. There is level 87 fletching. There you have it, folks. We now have the fletching level to fletch magic shields, so let's go ahead and fletch this shield and complete this task. And boom, there's one of our tasks to obtain a magic shield, which is our ranged best in slot shield. And then we have also completed the task to fletch a magic shield with 87 fletching. And there's another one to wield the magic shield. So there's 3 tasks completed, all from this shield. So now it's time to get on to the firemaking grind. Alright, it is time to start this grind. We've got our tinderbox and our adamant axe wielded, so let's get to getting these firemaking levels. And of course, I did the math out. We need to cut and burn a little over 12,000 willow logs in order to hit our 75 firemaking goal. So I don't think it should take too long, but we're just going to be burning our logs in lines over here. And I don't think it'll make too much of a difference where we burn the logs over here, but we'll see how it goes as time goes on. So I think I'm going to burn my logs more like at the northern willow trees, just because there's a little more space for these lines of fires. It's not a huge difference from a little more south, but oh, this looks fucked up, dude. My beaver's on fire. I'm also burning the environment that these hippos are living in, and I love the hippos. So this just seems super fucked. I can't lie. I don't like what I'm doing here, but I have to do it. This is also kind of weird. It lets me do fires all the way down to the water over here. But like, what's the purpose? It almost looks like there's a little path right here. But for what reason? I only have 1 more log. I'm curious if I could burn 1 more log right there. I don't think so, but let's see. Oh, I can burn 1 here. That's the longest line over here, to be honest. Do 10 logs there. That's pretty good. I will note that. Forget all of my rambling though. There is our first firemaking level. Only 24 more to go. So right now we're sitting at about 37,000 XP per hour, and I'm probably not being super efficient right now. Not too bad. Wanted a little bit of a change of scenery. So I came over here to show our beaver friend where our fletching and firemaking grinds all started. And there's a level 55 firemaking, so we can now burn mahogany pyre logs, and we are 20 levels away from our goal. There's level 93 woodcutting, so we are only 6 levels away from 99, which is kind of crazy. There's level 60 firemaking, which is a nice looking number. We can now burn U-logs and light an abyssal lantern with U-logs, which we're not getting an abyssal lantern. But yeah, 15 levels away. Let's get it. There is level 65 firemaking. We can now light cave goblin mining helmets and burn pyre logs. There's level 70 firemaking. Only 5 more levels to go, and then we will be done with this task. There you go. There's level 74 firemaking. One more level to go, and then we will be done. We have about 113,000 firemaking XP until we hit level 75. We are right on the verge, my friends. With these logs right here, this will get us to level 75 firemaking. So we can now burn magic logs and light an abyssal lantern with magic logs. So let's go over to the bank and grab one of our magic logs and complete this chunk task. All right, let's grab one of these bad boys, bring it down here. Since we tend to hit all of our chunk tasks in this one spot, here goes nothing. We burn this one log, and there is the chunk task completed. We have officially burned a magic log, and now all we have left for this chunk is our smithing grind, which when I say all we have, it's going to be the largest grind of this chunk. It's going to take us lots and lots of time, that's for sure. So I think that's a good place to end this episode. We got a lot accomplished, and all we have left for this chunk is our largest grind with the 88 smithing grind. So I figured we could just take a quick look at everything we accomplished this episode. This is actually the first time we haven't completely finished a chunk in an episode, which is kind of weird, but technically we completed everything that came with the Crypt of Tenali since we added the 88 smithing grind to the chunk ourselves. But nonetheless, let's go over everything we accomplished. So for our skill tasks, we achieved 30 attack to wield an Addy weapon, 40 defense to wield a magic shield, 75 firemaking to burn magic logs, 87 fletching to fletch a magic shield, and 75 woodcutting to chop a magic log. We didn't get too much done for our best in slot tasks, so that will be a big emphasis for our next episode, but we did get one more best in slot than I was expecting this episode, and that was the Rune Kite Shield, which is a great surprise, and then we also obtained the magic shield as well. Then we completed both of our other tasks, which were to help unite Fabia with Xylo and activate the statues of Eights. Here's just an overview of all of them at the same time, so you can kind of get a visualization of how much we accomplished and how much we have left. Pretty much all of our tasks left pertain around the smithing skills, so our next episode will be heavily smithing and mining focused. And most importantly of all, we can't forget about our new friend that we made along this journey, our new beaver pet. And again, don't forget about the community post in regard to what we should name this little guy. I look forward to seeing all the name suggestions you guys give. In next episode, he will be named. Last but not least, I would just like to thank all of you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode. I really appreciate all the love and support, and a special shout out to our community member, Michael Hill 786. You are a legend, my friend. But that's all for now. Next time I see you guys, I'll be kicking that smithing grind's butt. But until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one.